Listen, I was 28 years old on my 28th birthday. I had a pink princess bouncy castle in my 3-story penthouse on the Las Vegas Strip. I had a 9-some. Let's do the math. That's 8 girls, me, 3 bottles of Johnson & Johnson's baby oil. I was having a great fucking time. You couldn't tell me a motherfucking thing.
Hey guys, JB in the house. The Wolf is here in the Wolf's Den. Got a really interesting guest, and I'll tell you what, it's a guy who's been up, he's been down, he's been accused of things, he's been cleared of some things. He's got strong opinions about a lot of things, but one thing is he's a nice guy. And I met him through a friend of a friend, and his name, he's of course from here, is Armani, real name Armani Izadi, right? Armani, yeah. Right? So, colorful character, as you can see. So, let's get it right out there, right? I want to just get it right out there. You've been accused of being, physical violence, being a pimp. Now, coming from me, understand, I'm a guy who's been accused of everything, so I empathize with you, right?
Sure.
Fortunate thing is pretty much everything about me was true. I was a fucker. I did steal money. I did break the law. I did time in jail. What's true about you? Let me give you your side of the story. And then also we have a video that we could play in a little while. Tell me your side of the story.
Well, I moved to Vegas when I was 20 years old. And I'll just say real quickly, you don't have to like me. But if you don't like me, you don't like Vegas.
I like you, so I mean, you're a nice guy.
Or if you like Vegas, you probably would like me, right? You like Vegas. I've heard some
I hate Vegas now.
Oh, okay.
I can't take it because it's evil for me now. And it's also not as fun as it used to be. It used to be, today's like corporate Vegas. It used to be insane Vegas, when I was
it's like, it's not even a club anymore. It's like a concert.
Like, you see stuff like, remember the movie, like Casino, like they go, how many holes are out in the desert there?
Yeah.
I don't think they're digging holes anymore.
No.
They're not, right?
Yeah, no.
When I was going there, they're not, right?
They're just kicking you out of the casino.
Exactly, right?
But I'm not allowed like 50% of Las Vegas venues. By the way, can we fix that? That would be great. Or I'm going to start putting you guys on blast. I'm actually going to put some people on blast today on the show.
Wait. You're not allowed what?
Into like 50% of Vegas casinos or nightclubs.
Why?
But what we're about to talk about. So I come to Vegas when I was 20 years old, right? Never drank a day in my life. I get invited to a brand new place called Tal Beach that's having its grand opening. I'm 20 years old with a fake ID, right? I get my way into this club. I order a pitcher of strawberry lemonade. Turns out to be the best pitcher of strawberry lemonade I ever had in my life. I order 2 more. I'm double fisting. I am wasted.
Right.
Very first time, right? Go around, make friends. I get approached by a guy named Mark J. Says, "Excuse me, mate, can I talk to you?" I'm like, think I'm in trouble.
Australian dude?
No, well, maybe it sounded Australian, but he's like from London, right? So Mark like invented like this new bottle service revolution that Vegas was going through. It was the first time. It was like tables only. It was one of the first beach clubs ever. This wasn't like a thing.
Commonplace now, but back then it was revolutionary.
It was rehab and Tal Beach was impossible to get into, and I don't know how I got it.
A friend of mine owns it. Mark Packer's a good friend.
Exactly. So he says, "No, you're amazing. I want to give you, you see this daybed, and you see this cabana, it's not your cabana, it's your daybed." And I'm like, I'm not a rocket scientist. Like, why? What is it for? He's like, for all the girls you know. I literally know no one, but I had made friends with apparently all the hottest models at the club. So I start showing up 4 hours early to the club and meeting girls at the pool and saying, "Hey, I've got all this alcohol. I don't know what to do. Come with me." And I never showed up to a Vegas door without 20 to 80 girls with me by myself.
Let me stop that for 1 second. So you said you knew all the hottest models. Let me ask you a question.
I didn't know them at that.
No, but the point is, like, let's just, let's speak truth there. You're not fucking Richard Gere. I'm not Richard Gere. Like, I'm not saying you're a bad looking guy.
I'm not Brad Pitt. Yeah.
No, you're not Brad, right? But why? Why the fuck are they seeing you?
I'm a good time.
You're just a good time.
Yeah, I was apparently a great time.
Were you giving them blow?
No, I don't.
Because that's what I always did.
No. I literally just shared my strawberry lemonade with them. I was like, oh my God. And house music was a thing, and I had this like awkward hop dance thing, and I was just full of energy. And
you're like a peacocking sort of thing? Like
I literally didn't know what I was doing, but yes, I gave 0 fucks, and I was the most fun guy in the room, tons of energy, and I didn't stop, and everybody just thought that was great.
Was there drugs were you taking drugs?
No. Really? There's drugs in Vegas, but I've never been.
You're not into drugs. Yeah. Okay. Were the girls taking drugs?
I don't know.
Because the reason is because, like, to me, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm saying is typically a lot of that stuff, because I'm just using my own map of the world. A lot of times that crazy scene where everyone's going wild is fueled by drugs because people want to stay up, they want to have a good time, and inhibitions get released.
That's going on, but again, I'm 20.
It wasn't
years
part of
old.
your story.
It wasn't,
because I was doing it when I was
it
11.
becomes
so
part
I
of the
mean-
story. It's woven in, but this is day one, right? So here's how you accidentally become what some people say is the biggest pimp in Vegas, right?
Okay.
So you hang out with tourist girls, right? I'm going out and meeting girls I don't know to walk up to the club with, which is currency in Vegas, having a bunch of ladies around with you. I'm getting put at a baller's table who's spending 70 grand, right? And here's the problem when you hang out with all tourist girls. Maybe 19 of them are cute. There's always gonna be like a fat girl in the mix. It doesn't sound like a bad deal, right? Until the guy spending 70 grand says, hey, Armani, can you get rid of the fat girl? Now you got to kick her and her 4 cute girlfriends off the table. Not always a problem, but sometimes a roundhouse kick to the chest with a high heel, a cranberry on your white suit no one told you not to wear after Labor Day. You got to solve this problem. How do you solve it? Models, go-go dancers, cocktail waitresses, all the girls in Las Vegas that make the town go round. Here's the new problem. They don't want to be hit on by the 50-year-old spending 70 grand. What do? You bump into a stripper. You bump into an escort. She's okay with 3,500 to 5K to get hit on the guy. She's the buffer. Now the bill goes from 70 to 130 because everyone's drinking the champagne. Everyone's happy. The club owner's happy. The client's happy. All your models are happy. I go home with 15 grand.
Fat chick's not happy.
She was never at the table this time.
All right, so real quick, just hold that thought, my friend. I got to pay the bills here with a word from our sponsor. All right, here we go, guys. Here's the deal. Oracle NetSuite. Oracle's a massive company. It's like one of the biggest companies in the world. And Larry Ellison, the founder, is an idol of mine. The guy's awesome. What a life this guy has, right? Anyway, here's the deal, guys. Listen, if you've been in business for yourself, you have to realize that your numbers are everything. To track your numbers, to be able to measure and monitor things, right? Without that, you really can't grow your business. Either you're watching your numbers and analyzing them and acting on them, or your numbers are crushing you. Problem is this. Nowadays, there's so many different products out there, and they're all plugins, right? You have one company for this product, one for another. One might manage your inventory, one manages your sales, right? But they don't really talk to each other that effectively. I mean, they can, but they're not one cohesive unit. Here's the beauty with Oracle NetSuite. What Oracle NetSuite has done is they've come up with a program where everything is integrated. The code has been written so that things perfectly talk to each other. So it allows you to really manage your business with one program. So not only do you save money, because in other words, now all these different programs are in one cohesive package, right? You pay for each separate one, but they've been designed to work together seamlessly. That's the beauty of Oracle NetSuite. So again, if you're a business owner or you work for a company and you're feeling the brunt of having to kind of tie together 8 different systems, this is a game changer. All right? Bottom line. And it's the wolf telling you this, and I'm selling you because I believe in this one. All right? I really do. This is an awesome product. You definitely want to check it out. And let me just give you some stuff here. There's a really cool bonus you get for being on my podcast. Here it is. You're getting a free guide right now, and I'm going to read this word for word here. Make sure I get this right here. It's valuable insights, a free guide, 7 key strategies to grow your profits. That comes from netsuite.com, and enter /wolf because you get this free guide. Awesome stuff, guys. Again, imagine this. One cohesive system to manage all your numbers versus having all these different plugins that barely talk to each other. You choose. And by the way, you got Oracle behind you as well. Oracle's an awesome company, one of the biggest and best out there in the world. Check this out one more time again, netsuite.com/wolf, all right? And believe me, you will be glad you did. Check it out. Stamps.com. All right. If you want to watch the wolf bare his fangs, send me to the post office to mail a package. Listen, nothing against postal workers, unless they go postal and start shooting people, right? I got the greatest guy. My mailman is the coolest guy. My friend, love him, right? This guy gives great service, cares about his job. Great guy, right? He comes to me. I don't go to the post office. I honestly, I'd rather almost slit my wrist than wait in line and watch a bunch of civil servants who are nice people, I'm sure, move at the pace of sea slugs while I pull my hair out of my head. Here's the deal. Back in the olden days, where I'm from, I know you guys are all young, right? Back in the olden days, we had these Pitney Bowes machines where you could kind of like do this a little bit on your own. You could weigh stuff and do this and that, right? Anyway, nowadays, you got stamps.com. It's like taking the post office and bringing it to your office, all right? So stamps.com saves you from going to the post office. All right, this is a big deal here. Time is money, right? And just think of it that way. Time is money. So how much do you save? What are you making out? What is your time worth? How much does it cost you every time you go to the post office? This is insane, right? This is for small mom and pops or for big warehouses that ship out thousands of packages a day, online, offline. I don't care what you do. Okay, analyze the amount of money that it costs you to go to the post office, and you will see this is the greatest deal in town. It costs you nothing extra. It's the same price or cheaper than the post office, and you don't have to go anywhere. The convenience, ridiculous. Savings, ridiculous, all right? And also, because you're with me here, they're going to give you some free stuff, as always, right? Sign up right now. Here's what they want you to do. Let me figure this out here. 4-week trial, right? 4-week trial. Plus, they're going to give you a free digital scale here, all right? And you're going to get free postage for 4 weeks. Honestly, ask yourself this question. Here's the straight line system. What's the worst that can possibly happen? Let's say you try this out. You go and you give it a shot. You sign up. You don't like it. You cancel the service. You get your free trial. What did it cost you? Nothing. You lose nothing. On the upside, if this service is even half as good as I say, just imagine how much time and money you'll save over the next 5 years by having the post office in your office. That's what I call a win-win. This company has so many features it can offer you over both the short term and long term. It's literally a no-brainer. So do this. Give it a shot. Go to stamps.com and type wolf in the microphone at the top. And believe me, you'll be glad you did this. Sign up for stamps.com. The strategy, I want to break down your strategy here. Let's see if we can extract some good from this insanity, right? Would be the fact that, okay, so problem would be club owners want gorgeous models. That we get. That makes sense because where gorgeous models are, men with money fly to dote on them. But they don't want to fuck the old rich dude.
Correct.
Hookers will fuck the old rich dude for some amount of money, no big deal. So what you did is you mixed hookers with real people, or civilians, so to speak, and the hookers serve as the buffer between the rich dudes. They make the rich dudes happy, and the models get to be at the same table, spend the money, but the rich dude's getting his dick sucked by a hooker, not a model.
Now, I'll never say that I was a pimp or that I got anyone to hooker it out, but I will say that
what's wrong with that?
Because I had a license, right?
Number one, it's legal in Vegas.
No, it's not. It's not. That's a misconception. In about 30-minute limo ride, there's brothels. So I'm not going to sit here and say that I was a pimp. What I will tell you is I had an out-call entertainer's license, which allowed me to send entertainers, male or female, anywhere, including but not limited to a hotel room, to dance nude. Now, if somebody wanted to get married, I would hope I get an invitation to the wedding, but it's not a mail order bride service.
There's a statute of limitations out. Could they arrest you for what you did 20 years? They can't, right?
Well, it's been about 7.
I think it's 3 or 5, probably, the statute of limitations. I'm guessing it's 5. Murder's like 7, right? I think there's no statute of limitations on murder, but pretty much everything else is 5, right? I think rape is 7.
I'm wildly held as a big pimp. That's
okay,
for sure.
fine.
People say that.
Do you think there's anything wrong? Do you think there's anything wrong with that?
I think there's nothing wrong.
You think like you don't want to say it. Is it wrong to be a pimp? Someone's got to do the job, right?
I think most people who are pimps, it's wrong what they're doing.
Why?
I think because most of it's not based and rooted in fun of the way that a town is set up. Most pimps are really just professional boyfriends making a living off of a woman that they're not helping, and that what ends up happening is they feel entitlement, and that's where the violence comes into play in those situations, because when that girl cuts that guy off of money or he gets an ego and brings another girl into the mix, that is a bad situation. I ran a company with entertainers who worked for a company.
You know this world well, right?
Yes.
So I really think people would like to understand this world. It's an interesting world. Explain. It's obviously like anything in life, there's a continuum, right? You have the most benevolent person who could be managing an escort service, who's organized, has great software, and can hook up guys with money with girls that want to get laid to get money. They take a 20% commission. Everything is done arm's length. Nothing wrong with that in my book, is there? In your book? For me, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, I think people should be entitled to do what they want to do if they're
consenting adults versus consenting adults.
I 100% believe that
I don't think it's bad.
They should allow people to do what they want to do.
Right.
And that would solve a lot of the problems with the shady characters that are in the industry.
Well, like in many countries, I travel the world. In many countries, it's not illegal.
Yeah, and it's happening anyway.
But that's one side of the continuum.
Alcohol, gambling, drugs, and adult.
Let's take it one step at a time. Okay. One side is that, right? So benign situation. Business person, good software, good marketing tactics. The girls make more money. They pay a fair share. Everyone's happy. No, just pristine, right? Other side of the equation is the cliched thing you saw back in the movies in the 70s where the pimp is beating up the girls, getting them hooked on heroin, right? Worst thing in the world, they should rot and die and get their balls chopped off. I think we all agree with that, right?
Right.
Okay. So the question is, where is the line of morality between those two? And in reality, where does it stop becoming a healthy? Seriously, in my point, there's nothing wrong with the former. Okay. In what point does it cross over? Does it cross over strictly when violence starts? Does it cross over when there's too much money?
I think if you're manipulating someone that doesn't know better, I think if you're coercing someone to do something with threats of violence, intimidation, or extortion, I think any of that is wrong, and you should let it come to you and not go to it, right? The porn industry is very fucked up. How many 18-year-old girls are almost tricked into ruining their lives when maybe they wouldn't have if they didn't have some good, slick salesperson convincing them to do something? I like to kick back and let it come to me, right? So I had over 230 girls working for my agency. I did this for many, many years, and I didn't have to go to anyone. It all flowed to me, and it was organic.
How? Explain
I didn't
how.
even mean for this to happen.
Tell me how it happened.
Well, I did. It was organic.
But really,
You
told me the beginning.
Right, so you're solving.
How did that happen?
So you're solving Vegas problems, right? And I'm a mood director. That's what I do. It's what we call the job. So
Find a mood director.
it's the most fun person in the venue, and I'm literally shaping the mood of the night, right? So how do I get you to spend more money? It's by creating a mood. So I would go to a restaurant and I would be given a dossier on a client. So I know that your average spend is 100K, 120K, 300K, whatever it is. I know where you're from, what you do for a living. I'm at a table next to you with 40 girls. You don't know that I'm working there. I look like a client.
Right.
Now I'm either trying to make friends with you or I'm trying to piss you off. It doesn't really matter which, because you don't know that you'll also be sitting next to me at the club. Now, let's say I made friends with you.
Right.
I'm sharing all the girls that I'm hanging out with, most of which are not escorts. They're just regular girls who want to have fun, models who want to have fun. And I'm telling you, hey, I'll buy 20 if you buy 20. Right? So we're ordering champagne. I'm running your bill up.
Your 20 are free from the club is paying your
right.
play,
My ace of spades has been filled with Corbel and it's being sent out from the back, over and over from empty bottles. You're running up a $100,000 bill.
Okay.
If you don't like me, that's also okay, because I'm going to shoot you the bird and order 40. And I'm going to send 5 girls over your table that I've trained to push your ego to outbuy me. I'm going to let you beat me for the night.
Okay, so
I'm trying to create a baller off. There's not always 2 black card holders.
I understand. Okay. All right. So now we're talking about a completely different form of deceit and lying, which is from between the restaurant to the patron, basically.
Yeah.
They're fucking over their patrons. That to me, that's not legitimate.
We're creating an environment.
I know. Listen, I understand that.
Yeah.
But to me, I'll be honest with you, that if I was the guy that found out that happened to me, I'd be really fucking
They
pissed.
never find out. They just had a great time.
Right, but I'd be pissed off if I found that I was manipulated like that.
You're already coming in to spend 70 grand. If I just provoked you,
no, it's not the money. A guy that's going to spend 70 can spend 170.
I'm
He
just a
doesn't want
better
to be
promoter.
manipulated into it.
Well, no, there's promoters. They bring girls. They party with clients.
Right.
I'm the cream of the crop promoter because I have now put myself in a seat where you are trying to party like me. I'm almost showing you how to have the best night possible.
I get that, but you lost me with the Corbel, the phony. So when you start,
the club's
when you start emptying, when you start serving, you're using phony champagne, get someone to match you. That's not legit. Would you do that today?
No, I don't do that anymore.
Would you do? Do you think it's legit? Do you think that's ethical?
So order champagne and then not be the same.
Do you think it's
brand?
ethical? Do you think it's ethical? No, seriously, dude, I like you. I'm just trying to. It's my map of. Listen, here's the thing. When you're a guy like me, okay, I've committed so much worse than that. Far worse. Like in my mind, what you did was like a Monday evening for me in my old life, right? Yeah. But today, I wouldn't do anything like even close to that. But I admit I did it. My point is now I know it's wrong. My question is, you've grown, you've changed. I know you, right? Do you still think that behavior is okay? And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think me going to a club and getting 20 bottles for free and creating an energy that results in more spending, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Do you think it's okay if they think that you're ordering the same thing as in this shit champagne?
I think it's a small detail because at the same time, there's all these go-go dancers dancing and they're bringing out bottle service presentation with your name and lights. I just think the whole it's a show and you're paying for a piece of real estate.
Got it.
for a 4-hour window to have a good time. And I think that anything goes in that show. Is it someone swinging from a trapeze? Is it me fist pumping with girls and spreading that energy through the cloud? There's a way to have a good night. And I feel like a lot of people spend their time learning how to make money, and they need to be shown how to have a good time.
So on some level, what you're saying is, in some of the ends justifies, you showed up a great fucking time.
That's all you're paying for.
They'll always have that memory.
It's entertainment, and that's what you pay for, and I entertained you. I let you beat me because you were a bigger baller than me. I was your professional best friend for the night. No matter what, as long as in the smiles business, you left with a smile.
Mm-hmm. And today, like as you live your life today, is that something that is that your same strategy?
I mean, social media, what I'm doing now is a completely different business, but I'm still entertaining. Absolutely.
Right. You're entertaining. But my question really is, though, and this is not just you, buddy, okay? One of the issues of social media, I think that everybody kind of is aware of and can't get their arms around, is this whole facade that everyone seems to be having a great time. It's almost like they took, on some levels, like that whole idea that everyone's having fun, everyone's smiling, and some people almost get depressed because they think, fuck, I'm missing out. What's wrong with my life? Look how happy everybody is. So what you're doing, you have a very active, how many followers do you have on Instagram?
320,000.
320,000, right? Yeah. And you're growing fast, right?
Yeah, like 1,000 a year ago.
That's awesome, right? That's great. And your strategy for doing that is what? Based on just
that's a whole nother conversation. I mean, me and what I do now, post nightlife and graffiti mansion. I paint, then I party, then I party, then I paint. Right? Like
what I'm trying to say to you. Listen, follow me the leap for a second. Right? We all make mistakes.
I'm not faking anything on social media. If that's what you're asking. If anything, I'm showing the hard work.
Not even. I know you work hard. I'm not saying that. Okay. You know, I've done really, really bad shit. Right? I admit it. I know it was bad. My question to you is, like, I want to know, like, what you learned from the whole. You had this rise, and you having more fun than anybody, right? You were the top guy. Something went wrong.
Oh, I got set up by a dirty cop.
Right. So, right. You get set up by a dirty cop. But was there did you play any part in it? Did you put yourself in a position where an asshole could take advantage of you?
What I would never do again is involve myself in a gray area business, even if it was completely legitimate, which is what I did. It was a completely legitimate business, and I ran my company to a T, which is why I'm free and beat the case, and we can get into that in a second.
Did you go to jail?
I went to prison for 2 years.
And
I beat it and came home.
So you beat the case and got it reversed?
Yeah.
How long were you supposed to go for?
Life.
No.
27 charges, man. Extortion, robbery, coercion.
You got sentenced
kidnapping.
for life?
No, they were trying to get me for life. I did not get sentenced.
Sounds like fucking, was it a Carlito's Way? I beat it 5 years on my...
Yeah, no, listen, but basically, we can get into it. But all I learned was stay a million miles away from anything gray area. Even if you're doing everything by the book, here is a business where, like in Vegas, it's completely acceptable to get people girls and have fun and dance, and like that's really what they trained me from 20 years old to do, including the club owners that you're mentioning, right? Like telling me, hey, Armani, we need you to do this, this, and this. Right. And I'm a kid with stars in my eyes, like, okay, I'll get these girls and come over here and yeah, okay, we'll dance all night. I
totally get it, buddy.
Whatever, right? So, you know, but if you look at it and you say,
good
wow,
people
some people
do bad things sometimes.
Some people could judge this. Well, listen, I've done bad things like getting into fights with guys, but I've never done anything to a woman.
So let's look. There was charges. Okay, so there was when I first met you, right? Obviously, I Googled you, right?
Yeah, it's terrible.
And it's almost, you know, I have a high threshold of terrible. Okay, so I mean, and I don't believe everything I see in the internet because I know better because they write shit about me, right? Yeah. And they had this whole issue with the thing with violence in women. And when I met you. I had met you before I Googled you, and you didn't strike me as the sort of guy, so I dug deeper. Right. I asked around, and I heard there was two sides to the story, and that the violence side was completely fictitious. Is that true? Is that accurate?
Of course, absolutely not.
And tell me about what they was said about you and why. I mean, I did my research and found that it didn't stack up, and it seemed pretty clear to me that happened. But and there's we'll play this thing, this clip about this guy that we have here who's some scumbag cop or something that was crazy.
Well, what I didn't know at the time when they set me up was that this cop that you're talking about, Detective Chris Bachman, was essentially on a take from a guy named Molly Mall, who was like had a competitive escort service. And this guy's like one of those guys that just like stays in his mansion and isn't like involved in the scene.
Right.
I won best life of the party 6 years in a row. I am like crowd surfing in a banana costume, like not taking life seriously at all. Right. So here this guy comes and there's a SWAT team and there's a tank driving through my mansion and there's an undercover sting operation.
Like a tank.
So he came up to me twice. So 2.5 years before they set me up, he did an undercover sting operation where I brought 8 girls to a suite at Caesars. They drove a tank through my mansion in Anthem, and they also hit a penthouse that I had at this building called the Metropolis. They were not able to charge me with a thing. I got a phone call right before I walked into the suite. Hey, you're going to a setup. They got all these buildings shut down for you, just so you know. I called my lawyer, Michael Cristalli. I said, what should I do? He says, go in there and show them you're legit. I walk in there. They're asking me for the girls, for Mr. Hassim, for the make love, for the make love. I was like, no, for the make love. Prostitution's illegal. What is a prostitution? I was like, no. The Chicken Ranch is about 40 minutes away. I'll get you a limo. He said, oh no. I explained to them that the girls can dance and that's it. He says, okay. They give me 40 grand in cash. I pay all the girls their cut. I leave the room. He's trying to get me to get him 3 ounces of blow. I'm just like, I know a guy. I'll see what I can do. I'll get back to you, right? He's like, take the 5 grand. I was like, no, I'm not a drug dealer. I walk out of the room. They tackle me. They put a bag over my head, take me back into another suite. I can kind of see computer screens through a mesh into a bathroom. They kick the shit out of me in this bathroom. And all I did is start counting. And they're like, why are you counting? I was like, well, you have an hour to detain me or arrest me. So as soon as I'm done counting to an hour, 2 gentlemen walk in, and this is the first time I met Detective Chris Bachman, and they don't even introduce themselves as that. So I'm Detective White and I'm Detective Black. It's a white guy and a black guy. And we got you on pandering and we've got you on trafficking.
Trafficking drugs or women?
Drugs, right? So they assumed that they were going to find kilos of cocaine in my mansion. Like, we know about your secret closet. I had this big closet and the door slides back and there's another apartment inside of my closet.
That's where I would have been hanging out, in the coke closet.
Right. And I'm like, there's literally no drugs in my house. Go for it. As it actually underneath the bed of both places is a briefcase that says "For the Pigs" on it. And you don't have me on pandering, which is pimping, right? Because I have a license for alcohol agency. How come my
So you had a license
for alcohol promoting?
Okay. Alcohol promoting?
Yeah. People refer to it as an escort agency, but it's not that. It's called alcohol promoting. It means it's like a mobile strip club license. I can send people
but not for the purposes of sex.
No sex.
But everyone knows it's a fucking joke, right? I mean, because that's all it's about, right? It's all about sex.
That the assumption is the difference in law, right?
No, but I understand that. But my point is that, you know, when you, I think there's this huge stigma against this, which I don't think is deserved.
Right.
In the case of when, like, if everyone is doing something in a town, people go to Vegas for this reason, right? People are not going to Vegas. I mean, I guess it's the family side of the equation.
No.
People hanging in your area. They know what they're getting into, right? But my question is though, what was this whole thing about, like the violence side of the equation? That's the ugly part.
So this is 2.5 years before that, right? So they don't have anything. I walk out of there, no charges, right?
Oh, you walked away from it.
Literally nothing happened. Like, they couldn't touch me. Right, they find out that I'm licensed. He looked like an idiot. Imagine being Detective Chris Bachman. You had a helicopter and a tank go to a mansion. You followed me for 2 months. You hit a penthouse and you set up an undercover sting operation. Every cop in the city thinks that I'm going to jail.
Right.
And you didn't have a warrant for my office where my alcohol license was at because you didn't know. He says, bullshit, this guy doesn't have a license. I was like, do you think the dude who owns Burger King flips the Whoppers, bro? I said, why would I? I'm the trustee of a trust that manages a corporation that has a DBA that is that, right? Step your game up. He didn't even know what I was talking about. You know what I'm talking about, right? So
wait, so you got off? Nothing?
No, I didn't even charge. There was no getting off. I didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, that's what happened. So
I thought I was fucking King Kong. You couldn't tell me shit. I just had a SWAT team drive a tank through my house. I'm like, double down, more girls, more money. I start making 50 grand a day. Fuck you, right? Like, I'm like telling every host in Vegas, you're doing it wrong. If you have clients, you call me. So we're legit. These cops can't touch us, bro. Just never say that they're going to have sex. Never say anything illegal. If the client asks me for sex, I'm like, fuck off. you're an idiot or you're a cop. I don't want your money. I'm only sending girls to dance, hang out, what my license allows for, right? And
wait. Are you playing a role right now? But they were all having sex though, right?
Listen, we're going back to the assumption. If two people get introduced.
I know the cover story, but I'm talking about the reality.
But this is the license, right? So the reality is I'm not going to ever say then or now that I didn't operate. You couldn't catch me taking a shit with my fiance, which, by the way, I wear her ring right here. You couldn't catch me taking a shit with my fiance and ever have a conversation that was illegal. I wouldn't do it because even though I can assume that they probably were having sex or probably not, I never arranged that. It never came out of my mouth. It's not something that I would participate in that conversation. Is what keeps me legal and keeps me free, right? Because you can go to prison for 20 years for arranging.
It's also it's called the reasonable man clause of law. Like if the reasonable man would realize everyone's having sex, then you would have to, realize they're having sex.
Not if you give me a license to operate a business with parameters in which I'm
not going to debate the law. It's fine. I want to know about what happened with this. Let's play this clip here with this. Yeah. Let's play this clip, okay? And I want to.
I'm not trying to frustrate you, Jordan.
You're not frustrating me at all, buddy. I'm not going to attack you because I like you.
Prosecutors learned the detective who launched that case was himself suspected of involvement with sex traffickers and prostitutes.
Multiple Metro officers in a bribery scheme related to illegal prostitution.
FBI investigation into possible corruption involving a former vice detective appears to be widening. The existence of the FBI probe was first revealed last year by our I-team. The focus is former Metro Detective Chris Boffman.
FBI agents are now asking questions about other law enforcement figures who worked with Boffman.
Detective Boffman allegedly slept with victims who later became witnesses.
Back when he was a star vice detective, Chris Boffman characterized himself as one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, ready to unleash malevolent fury. Boffman's face became a fixture on newscasts and front pages. In 2 books he authored, Boffman credited the victims, frightened and vulnerable working girls whose trust and testimony were crucial in putting their pimps behind bars. I am here placed by God, Boffman wrote, like a figure from Greek mythology to protect every daughter. But federal investigators and others now suspect Boffman crossed way over the line. Attorney Michael Cristalli learned about Boffman's alleged indiscretions while representing Outcall owner and former nightclub promoter Armani Izadi, who was targeted by Metro Vice and the IRS.
My very first day ever going to a nightclub, I walked up to the ropes of Tao at the Venetian and I handed a guy named Peter $50. And I said, Peter, I want to come back here at 11:30. I'm going to have 10 hot girls or more with me. When I do, I don't know anyone in Vegas. I want you to act like we've been friends from college and let me in.
That's how Armani Izadi started what became a hugely successful career as a club promoter. Within a year, he had a nightly entourage of attractive women willing to follow him into popular nightclubs to party and drink for free, no strings attached. Izadi called himself a mood director.
And essentially what we do as mood directors is go into a venue, bring a lot of beautiful people with us, and create an energy that results in more spending. They would comp everything for me, and they actually pay me to do this. And then they would place their big customers on either side of me.
His rise coincided with an explosion in the nightclub scene. Clubs became profit centers, attracting younger tourists who came to Las Vegas not to gamble, but to dance and party. DJs were paid millions. Nightclubs begat day clubs. Customers would pay $1,000 for a $20 bottle of booze, in part so they could be surrounded by beautiful women. Izadi at first recruited female tourists he just met, but after a while had his own army.
Most of them aren't even entertainers. They're just local models, cocktail waitresses, people who want to go out and have fun.
He knew every doorman and VIP host in town and was paid just to show up. Eventually, Izadi got an outcall license, like those services advertised on rolling billboards. A few of the women who worked with him as independent contractors provided services way beyond drinking and dancing. He spent 20 months in jail awaiting trial and faced life in prison if convicted. After his lawyers raised raised pointed questions about Boffman and the evidence in the case, 19 of the most serious charges were dropped.
So you have to ask yourself, what would cause a prosecution to fall apart in that respect if they really truly believed the alleged victim's allegations?
Izadi and his legal team think Boffman had sexual relations with the women who agreed to testify in the case, which is viewed as a serious breach by a police officer.
The credibility of the witness is gravely compromised.
Metro police reached the same conclusion. When Boffman left the force for a TV show, then tried to return, he admitted to Metro having relationships with numerous prostitutes in high-profile cases that he worked. After being rejected for rehire by Metro, he got a job running the limo service at Olympic Garden, a strip club, an unusual position for a longtime vice cop. Since the FBI investigation began, the Bureau has twice requested case files from Metro, specifically cases involving pimp investigations that Boffman worked. And a few months ago, Boffman's life took another unexpected turn. He married Deputy DA Liz Mercer, the same prosecutor who put away at least 3 of the pimps that Boffman
Spousal
investigated.
privilege.
Metro
You don't have
has
to
since
testify on your
complied
spouse
with
if you are one.
information
You don't have to
requests
testify
from
on yourself.
FBI agents who were investigating Boffman. The I-team has learned that federal agents interviewed Boffman's former co-workers at Vice and have reviewed his books to look for clues. A major concern is what might happen to other convictions. One man targeted by Boffman is a convicted panderer named Daryl Kramer, who told us by phone that Boffman seduced a woman who worked for Kramer and testified against him. Kramer says Boffman then introduced that woman to a rival out-call operator named Molly Mall, whose home was raided by the FBI's public corruption team in 2014. Boffman's friendship with Molly Mall is what first alerted Metro that Boffman might have stepped over the line. Rashid is better known by his showbiz name, Molly Mall. Starred in his own music videos and has recorded songs for some of the biggest acts in music, including heartthrob Justin Bieber, who became a close friend of Rashid's. Bieber's visit to Molly Mall's Las Vegas home led to a stunning surprise for investigators, to a superstar cop. Several Metro detectives, in essence, worked as hired muscle for Molly Mall and took down rival pimps. In a sworn affidavit, new witness Don Ramos, who spent 11 years as bodyguard and driver for Molly Mall, said under oath that he witnessed cash payoffs to Boffman and other Metro officers, as much as $10,000 a month, that Molly Mall had a hand in getting a 3-book publishing deal for Boffman, that Boffman brought his teenage daughter to Molly Mall's home, and while the daughter was left to interact with prostitutes and rappers, Boffman would have sex with Molly Mall's working girls. Sheriff Lombardo is limited in what he can say about the FBI investigation, but he acknowledged
All I was trying to do was crowd surf in a banana car.
the FBI sought and received information from Metro.
We are cooperating. There has been a request of our intelligence unit to provide some information and some documents that we have associated
It's like a really
with the suspects
sheriffy
in
way
that
to say,
case.
I'm sorry.
Not the officers identified, but the suspects that were incarcerated as a result of those investigations, and we have supplied that information.
The FBI probe gave the sheriff extra impetus to enact sweeping changes at Vice. Personnel changes were made, and now Vice has been put under a new lieutenant and a captain, Devin Ballard, who will oversee a recently combined Vice and gang unit.
Fancy way of saying they lost the budget. They lost an entire unit.
To that, to ensure that officers don't lose their way. And they're doing what they originally went there to do. So it's important for to have oversight.
So you're confident you got the right people there now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Izadi, who now manages high-end vacation rentals, wrote a screenplay about his rise and fall, which he describes as Wolf of Wall Street meets The Hangover. In it, his character gets taken down by a crooked cop. In real life, Izadi has been questioned by FBI agents.
It's not like they tell me anything, right? They ask me questions, and naturally, when someone asks you questions, you learn what their interests are.
From what he could determine, the FBI is no longer gathering information about Chris Boffman. They're casting a wider net.
They're the public corruptions team, so I don't think for them it's about one dirty cop. It's about how far does this corruption go? You know, who else is involved?
Came up with a rather unique.
All right, I get it.
This is the post.
Oh,
This is
what's this?
the post. This is the
All right.
graffiti man.
All right, let's go. So wow. Okay. So let me tell you my takeaway.
Sure.
So I was chased by a FBI agent for fucking 8 years. The most honest fucking guy. So like we're friends.
Yeah. Okay.
Like he caught me doing shit I was doing wrong, and he did the work, and I got went to jail.
Right. Sure.
And we became friends. Me and I paid, and I paid for the whole thing, right? And I'd be pretty fucking pissed if I was framed. Now I'm not saying. Do you think you were framed, or just simply like you were doing some things that were probably over the line, and yet a maniac cop who's acting on a rival person, like it's almost like a rival. Let's use drug lord. He's getting rival drug dealers, even though you weren't dealing drugs. But do you have any? Do you take any response? Obviously, he's a crooked cop, right? Do you take any responsibility?
Fuck no.
Okay.
I didn't do anything wrong.
There you go.
Right? So like morally flexible to where how people could look at it. Yeah. Like that's why I say you don't have to like me, but you don't like Vegas. Did I ever do, and even in this conversation, violate the license that they gave me?
Yeah.
No. You never get me to ever break
You'll
the
never
rules.
admit that.
I don't need to admit it because I didn't do it, right? I paid every dollar in taxes. I don't have an issue.
Fair enough. Let me ask you another question. It's interesting. I'll tell you what interests me, right? Because we have somebody who's very same paths and divergent paths, right?
Right.
The difference is I look back at what I did and I can see what I did right and what I did wrong. And you look back what you did, say, I wouldn't change a thing. And by the way, if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm not even judging. I'm just saying it's a fundamental difference. So I look back at my life with perspective and say, I fucked up, but I did some awesome shit.
Yeah.
Like you have some extreme talents, Armani. You do. I'll be the first to tell you, you have some very unique talents that are worth a lot of money, that are very monetizable, and you will always have money for your whole life because of these talents you possess. That being said, people are complex. I had very unique talents that allowed me to make money, and today as well. But I also made some huge errors, and I deployed those talents in a way that were not their most ethical use for sure, and I broke laws. My point is that when you look back, you say, you know what, fuck, I had all this talent, I did all this shit, I shouldn't have directed it. If I could change shit, I'd change shit. I wouldn't have done certain things. Or fuck, and every right to say I was framed, I didn't do anything wrong, and I keep everything, and that's okay too.
I think if I had,
I want the truth, though.
I think if I had done something illegal, right? Like I punched a guy and I shattered his orbital. That's why I ended up doing some time. I didn't do any time for that. Right, but I was wrong for hitting the guy, right?
Right,
so I
fair
can
enough.
say that. But my point is, when I do something wrong, like I shouldn't have hit that dude that hard. But did I do anything wrong?
Well, did he deserve it?
Yeah, he called my mother an idiot.
You should have hit him that hard.
Of course, right?
Hopefully you didn't shatter his
But I
orbital.
hit him so hard that I had to do time over it. But so that wasn't good. So
But maybe,
maybe
but
would
you
have pushed
offended your
him,
mother's honor, though.
Of course.
I think he fucking deserved it.
He does deserve it, but I still, in retrospect, wish I didn't hit him that hard.
But I am concerned. I guess I wasn't there.
Right.
Like I just get concerned because I like you, and I think that I think that you have such talent inside of you, and if you don't learn, you have to learn.
Well,
something.
I learned not to do gray area business.
Okay, so but it wasn't. What was gray though in your mind?
Because the assumption, that even if I'm running a legitimate business, that it's still illegitimate.
Okay, so what you're saying is
now the cannabis industry.
having plausible deniability is not the best business strategy. Is that fair to say?
Correct.
Okay. So what you say, you set yourself up with plausible deniability, and so you can look at me and say, I didn't break the law, and you'll take that to the grave, but it's probably not a sustainable way to make money.
No, I could have made that money like that till I was 100, but that doesn't mean that I would ever participate in anything that's why I like social media, because it's all proof. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
So you can't ever say I was doing something I wasn't.
Let me give you an example. I used to say when I was breaking the law, right? And I'll tell you flat out, 95% of what I did was fucking legit. It was 5% was manipulating stocks. The rest was all legit, right? And the old saying was, we never say something. That was your credo as a crook back then.
Yeah.
I'll never say something that I don't want published in the front page of the Wall Street Journal. I never say something out loud. We whisper, right, all the fucking shit to never be caught on a wiretap, right? And that was my motto back then, right? But my motto today is very different. It's that I wouldn't, even if no one was watching and I knew I couldn't get caught, I would never do it. You get it? Like that's my lesson from that.
That's what I learned.
You get it? So did you learn?
Never get me in trouble.
So it's not just that maybe if you won't, but you wouldn't just do it because it's wrong. Like what's the lesson from you? Because you're a good guy, buddy.
I don't think what I was doing was wrong. Right?
Listen, I didn't know everything, but the basic, I don't believe there's anything wrong with simply organizing that whole thing. Yeah. Even if there was prostitution going on, my personal belief, as long as there's no violence and you weren't exploiting people. So if you're on that really white side of it, like I said, I'm okay with that, but other people hate that. That's just me, okay? People can make up their own minds. Everyone have their own beliefs, right? People we can agree to disagree on that. But I have a real problem with other things enter in. I think you're saying you do too.
Yeah, I have a real problem.
Violence.
With violence. Anybody saying that I am a bad person. People. Right, yeah.
What you're saying is you never coerced girls to do it. They came to you, and if you had the slightest doubt that they were you'd push them away almost.
Listen, my main girls would not even introduce me to a girl that didn't want to have a threesome with me as a way of saying hi.
Okay.
So, like, that's just how I met. Girls would party with us.
Your conscience is clear.
Yeah.
But you learned something from the experience.
I learned not to do anything. That's why I'm not involved in cannabis. Cannabis, I feel like they could pick you out of
myself
a hat
too,
and fucking throw you away, right?
I've been offered to do cannabis. I won't go near because it's just questionable, right? Even though it's not illegal, it's just who knows, right?
Well, there's gray areas, right? And that's what I don't like is that there is like CBD, like, well, it's the schedule, but it's it doesn't matter what it is. Like, I'm good. I don't want anything that I could be the example because in Vegas, everyone's still doing it. No VIP. Every VIP host is a drug dealer pimp, right? Did any of them go out and get a light? Every VIP host in Vegas,
100%, no exception.
If you are a VIP host in Vegas, you're a drug dealer pimp. The difference is,
and you heard it here on the Wolf Den. This is truth being spoken by Armani with a fucking lot of conviction, at least his truth, right? I like it.
No, it's a motherfucking fact. Maybe you weren't the guy who bought the ounce of cocaine and bagged it up, but you called the guy who did, and he brought over the Molly and the coke for your client, right? You still makes you a drug dealer in the eyes of the law. Maybe you didn't fucking have the girl live with you, right, and give you 100% of her money or give you a percentage of the money, but you still introduce her to the client and she fucking slept with them for money. You're a pimp. The difference between all of those guys and me is I went out and got a license and I ran that business the way that the state set it up.
You scaled it too. When you scale, and you're a colorful guy, you become a
I was loud. I was a loud guy. I was out every night with 80 girls, and the news said himself had an army. And
Let me. I want to ask you one more question about your old life. Yeah. And I want to talk about your new life because your new life's pretty fucking awesome. Okay, and I like that a lot better. Yeah. But I had to talk about that because it's part of who you are today, right?
We can talk about what actually happened if you want.
Well, yeah, I'd like to. But I also want to talk about your new life as well because it's pretty cool. But what's the worst thing you ever did? With the girls, is there anything you did that you wish you could take back from that period?
Not have dated the girl that set me up.
Not have dated the girl. So you made it a habit not to date the girls or sleep with them?
No. I usually dated anywhere between 7 and 17 girls. I only date girls who like girls and they have to like each other. But
girls were bisexual, you mean?
Yeah, at that time in my life, like I had so many girls in my life, and it's just maybe you're watching this, you don't fucking understand, and you're looking at me like, yeah, fucking right, but like I'm a goddamn player, right? So the thing is that this girl that I brought into my world liked me too much. I was losing weight. I'm a 3X right now. I was probably a large at the time, right? And I think I'm a pretty good looking chubby guy while being a chubby guy.
You're a really good looking chubby guy.
Good looking chubby guy, Anyway, the point is
Beecher. You know my friend Jeff Beecher.
I'm better looking than Beecher.
Okay, but Beecher. Are good, but he's like that.
He's a nice guy.
He's awesome too, Beach.
But the thing is that this girl was obsessed with me, and she was like got into the business. I could tell because she wanted to be with me, not because she wanted to get money. Mm-hmm. So when she approached me and said, "I want you to stop sleeping with any other girl except for me," and at that time my fiance, I was like, "Well, I'm kind of a entertainer as much as you are. I'm not gonna stop. Some of these girls are literally hanging out with us and giving me money because they want to be around, right? It's the hype machine. So I wish I would have just gently. It was a situation where hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, and she felt like if she couldn't have me, that nobody could, right? And so that's how. It is a perfect storm. You have this dirty cop out there setting up people left and right. I'm not the only one, right? You got this guy who thinks he should be the only player in town, this Molly Mall guy. I don't even know.
Is he still out in business or is he in jail?
They just raided. I mean, no, they're having a hard time because the corruption is so high up. Judges, DAs, that if it was just about the cop, he'd already be in jail. The agent told me that from the FBI. He's already fucked.
Right.
The indictment is so much larger in terms of like where the money was going from this guy and we'll see what happens, right? The second they make that arrest, you guys are gonna have to settle with me on a $50 million 1983 civil lawsuit. Anyway, point is,
Yeah. See. Okay. So okay. Again.
point
So
is, this girl was like obsessed, and like I wish I would have stayed away from her. I wish I would have had
in the way you have
foresight
no,
to
you
stay
have
away
no
from her, you know?
bad moments with how you treated the girls, and now you feel really good about that whole thing.
I mean, I have a sharp tongue. If you get mad at me, like if I get mad at you and you're being rude, and I would 86 them from all the casinos. That was my way of controlling situations. So imagine you're making 80 grand a month, which my top girls did, and I just cut that off.
How much are you making a month?
A lot.
How much?
Anywhere between 15 and 50 grand a day. So, like on a good month, 3 mil,
Okay.
That's
good money.
Yeah.
And what'd you do with a lot of money?
Tipped a lot of people. So it's cash
Oh,
in,
you had
cash out.
expenses. Oh, you
cash
grossed
in, cash
3
in.
million.
Yeah,
What
cash
were you
in.
netting at the end of the month?
I mean, listen, I have
$1.
a great relationship with the IRS, so we're not going to talk about that. But, you understand what I'm saying. But the point is...
No, clarify it. Clarify it.
Listen, here's
Don't
Vegas.
get yourself in trouble. Clarify
You got to
it.
take care of people in Vegas. I don't care if it's the doorman or the
You also
guy
a casino, right? You
you got to take care of people. You got to spend money. You got to, I would walk around some nights with 10,000 in my pocket with just the intention on handing out 100 to everybody I see, right? And that is how you keep a town like Vegas in your favor.
Still going on today, the same way as when you were there?
I don't think anyone operates like I ever did. I hit a pinnacle that hasn't. There's a guy who used to kind of be in my syndicate who's operating very fucking illegally with a model agency. How he's not in jail for 20 years is beyond me. He's probably an informant, but he's not the only one. They're all operating this way. I mean, I just got stopped at the door at Dre's this last weekend, and I told the owner Dustin, like, hey, over half your fucking staff used to work with me. How about I make a fucking video about your staff and submit it to the fucking internet, let the gaming commission shut you down. So, but I don't want to be that guy. I'm not a fucking rat, right? Like, I don't want to throw people under the bus. Actually, if you could bleep out homeboy's name, that'd be great.
Let me ask you a question. You said before about that you were making big money. It was money in, money out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Like, my question is like right now, is the mob still in Vegas?
No, fuck no.
There's no mob in Vegas?
No, there's no mob.
It's just the corporate mob, basically.
It's just the hustle surrounding the nightlife industry is all there is.
No
And then
organized crime, so to speak?
Well, I think that's debatable in terms of law, but not like what you're talking about.
I'm talking about like in the movie.
Nah.
Like, no, that's just been
There's
flushed
no
out.
gangster shit. No.
No gangster shit.
No. If gangster shit gets run out of town pretty quickly, because the gangster shit is the cops.
The gangsters, because the drag would drive out the gamblers and all the entertainment.
The
right?
cops are the ones on some gangster shit, not the people.
Let me ask you this: if you were to meet this guy, Chris, what's his name, Boffman?
Yeah,
he sounds like an asshole. Okay.
Yeah.
What would you say to him?
How you like your fucking life now, buddy? You know what I mean? Like, I'm fucking do nothing but private jets and mansions, and you fucking hide in your DA wife's house with your security jobs that I keep getting you fired from, you bitch. And I hope you fucking love sitting in a jail cell when they eventually take you there while I get a settlement for what you did to me, and I'm fucking big chilling with 50 million followers and a movie deal with Jordan Belfort in about 24 months, you cocksucker.
Okay, so I guess you're not at the forgiveness part yet.
Fuck that dude forever, for life.
For life. You can never forgive him.
Yeah, I did 2 years. Listen, I was 28 years old on my 28th birthday. I had a pink princess bouncy castle in my 3-story penthouse on the Las Vegas Strip. I had a 9-some. Let's do the math. That's 8 girls, me, 3 bottles of Johnson & Johnson's baby oil. I was having a great fucking time. You couldn't tell me a motherfucking thing. You brought a SWAT team to my house, you fucking prick. You set me up with 27 charges saying I'm a bad guy. I won best life of the party 6 years in a row. I was the most liked. Like, I'm just the happiest kid. Like, my prerogative was wear a Ninja Turtle outfit and fucking go dance and dress up like a leprechaun and have a good time.
You were hurting no one.
And I hurting no one, having a good time, creating fun. And you threw me in fucking prison. You ruined my life. You stole all my money, right? I came home with nothing. People who knew me for 10 fucking years wouldn't take my phone call, right? Now that I've got followers, now that I go viral, you know, people are pretending like they miss me and I pretend like I believe them. But you ruined my fucking life. And the only thing that makes it not ruined is if in the end of all of this stuff that I'm doing, why I'm doing social media, why I'm going as hard as I am, because it's either that or fucking kill myself, right? Coming home, I got a sick mother in a wheelchair. I have no fucking money. What was I going to do? This is 4 years ago, right? This is either kill myself or fucking win. I'm going to get a movie made We're going to call Jonah Hill. He's going to fucking play me, right? It's going to be called the mood director. We're going to crush it. And now we'll laugh. And that makes it all worth it. And then maybe I'll think about forgiveness. But I hope that he buys a ticket to the goddamn show. I know he's subscribed. What's up, bro? Turn on your post notifications.
It's honestly, it's interesting. I don't, I'm conflicted. You know why? Not about you. I like you. I think you made some mistakes. We all make mistakes. I made bigger ones. I'm conflicted. It's hard for me to fathom, I guess, because, I wasn't wrongfully accused. I own everything I did wrong.
Yeah.
And so I guess I have a different mindset when I never wrote my book for money. I never sold it for money. Because there's better ways to make money than to write it's the worst way to make, I mean, it's such a long shot.
Yeah.
It was all an accident what happened. I mean, I do my sales train to make money and I build I love, you know how much I love money. I fucking love fucking money.
Yeah.
All right. And I couldn't live without money because I love to take care of my family. But my trip that I'm on now was never about making money. It really wasn't. It was just about, it happened almost by like, I had this ability to train salesmen and do certain things and it all grew out of that. I think you deserve to be happy more than anything.
Yeah, I was happy.
I'm not some dude. Listen, I'm not being Pollyanna idiot here. What I'm saying is that on some level, okay, you have every right, okay, to want this guy to fucking die in a fire, probably. If he, all those things that he allegedly did, which seems like in my book, it sounds like he did all of them. But then again, I'm sort of on your side, okay? I want to be, right? But still, when you have that much anger in you that you obviously have, it eats away at your soul a little bit, buddy.
No, it's terrible. I was the happiest.
I'd like to see you happier. I'd like to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can, here's the thing, you ready? The best revenge in the world is what? Living well.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that if you focus less on doing things because you're awesome and capable of doing amazing things versus to show someone else and give them the finger, I think you'll be happier and make even more money.
Well, you asked me what I would say to the guy. That's what I told you.
But then
I don't walk around thinking about it.
But then you took it to like a different...
Yeah.
And I'm glad.
That's what I would say to him.
I want you to be
Fuck,
honest. What I'm saying is I'm just giving you advice from a guy that, that I've been in some ways I was very different because I was guilty and I made mistakes and I got what I deserved, right? You don't feel that way about your own life.
No, I feel like I need everybody who ever hated on me for something I didn't do to eat their words. Now that drives me, and I think having that sort of anxiety or that sort of ambition is what allows me to come up with all this stuff I do. And I have moments of insane bliss flying in a bus attached to a air balloon and things like that, that I do. But I definitely want the level of success I had in a different industry now, right? I was the king of one. I want to be the king in another. And I want for the people who put me in a box.
You watch a lot of movies.
Ruined my life.
Do you watch a lot of movies?
Not anymore, but I used to.
Do you ever watch like Marvel, X-Men and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Right. There's a movie X-Men, First Class, right? And Magneto, right, who's played by Eric Fassbender. I think he's a fucking great actor, right? And he's with with Xavier, right? The guy who's the cool guy who's the school, right?
Right.
And he's driven by anger and rage and hatred and getting even with Nazis who killed his mother, right? And they have this scene in the movie where he touches a memory that is a loving memory. And what happens is that when he touches this memory, he gets Magneto to touch the love. He gets even stronger. My point is you're getting motivated from negativity right now. You're capable. I'm not saying you're, but I think you are such a brilliant, talented guy at what you do that I think that you could have more fun and be even bigger, quicker. If you in your own, I'm just giving you some advice from my own experiences because I, had some of this at least in me, and I think that if you let go of the anger, this guy's life will take care of himself. He'll pay for what he did, right? And focus on the positive side of the equation. You have even more power. Just in my opinion.
I'm really motivated by fun. My mother, ever since I was little, let me be the kid who organized like the summer school starting.
That's important. Tell me about how this all, we were always just sort of like in high school. What did you do in high school? What were you like in high school?
I went to a group home in high school. My mother almost died and was in a coma. So I was actually in the group home system.
Were you a money maker? You're always an earner?
No, ever since grade school, I was organizing parties and making money and putting together fun things. Not even money. See, you're motivated by money. I'm motivated by experiences. Like, I want everyone around me to have an amazing time.
But experiences don't buy private jets, motherfucker.
Yeah, they
do. You like the money too, though.
If you throw a good in it. But see, I don't look at it like money. I look at it like fun coupons. Like, I need the tokens to have all access to the game. And the game is the yacht and the plane. So everything I do, I'm selling a lifestyle, right? At the end of the day, whether it's Vegas or social media, I'm selling that my life is so amazing that you want to rent it for a day at a time. You want to subscribe so you can watch it, right? Either way, as long as you're tuning in, I'll be able to have the tokens that move around.
Let's switch to your new life, okay?
Yeah, sure.
So no. Good. I'm glad you're real. I fucking love the honesty.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. I want you to be honest, and you were honest. That's your truth, and that's cool, right?
I would never have this conversation with anyone but you, by the way.
Because you know I don't judge you. I would never judge you. People could love you, hate you, okay? I love you because I think you're a good guy, and I think that you're going to keep growing and growing, and I think that maybe when you're my age, I'm older than you, you'll probably look back and have some new perspective, but I think you're all where you need to be right now, and it's cool, and I like that, okay? Next subject, your new life, which is pretty, tell them what you do. So you've taken that sort of fun guy at the party, you've sort of shifted that into a lily white, it's a totally clean thing of, tell us what you do today.
First I paint, then I party, then I party, then I paint.
Be more specific.
Okay, so basically I have a mansion in Vegas, right, that I had a vacation rental on until I got back on my feet after prison. I scrounged up the money from driving a limo to get this mansion, and I rented it out for vacation rentals to meet ballers and throw parties, right? And so I was looking at it one day and I decided I'm going to paint this entire mansion, right? I paint the mansion. It goes completely viral. It gets 60 million views. It was after the October 1 shooting, right? So
slides of
yeah. So that was I literally
super rich guy spray paints his mansion.
like definitely not super rich at the time, but they were just
You're
like
future pacing though.
Yeah,
future
of course.
pacing. I understand.
That was their click.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's everyone's doing that.
Yeah, so I basically painted. I got some artists and I said, teach me how to paint. I want to paint. And we painted the whole mansion in 7 days, which was crazy, the time frame that we gave ourselves to do it. There were 6 artists that came out. It ended up being 2 and me at the end. And yeah, this went crazy viral. My brother who's here, Nicky,
Nicky, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
Is he as crazy as he's a fucking maniac, right? Heart of gold, though? What do you think? A good maniac.
Yeah.
1 to 10, heart of gold, yes or no? 10 on a 10 on the heart of gold scale, or a 1 or an 8 or 7? What do you think? 11. Okay, there you go. Doesn't surprise me.
I care very much about my friends and family. Here's the thing. So Nicky's hanging out with Logan Paul. Nicky's got a fucking tiger because Nicky's a goddamn legend, right? So they're hanging out playing.
Wait, stop. Nicky's got a what? Tiger.
Yeah.
Bengal tiger. Where? In my house. Where?
Not anymore because of Logan. They fucking came and got the tiger.
I ain't seen one of that since fucking Scarface in the fucking backyard. He had the fucking tiger.
Yo, pull it up. Show him. Pull up the tiger.
Yeah, tiger. Okay.
So he's got a baby tiger. Anyway, so Logan's over there vlogging.
I have a fucking a Bengal cat. I have a cat here. Fucking, I love the
not
cat.
a Bengal.
But he's
This
like
is
this
a- this
fucking
is a
big.
tiger.
No, he's like this big. He fucking purrs and sleeps with me at night.
Here,
He's the best.
Nicky, show him the tiger.
I love pussy. You know.
Yeah. Hey.
Let's see the fucking.
So Logan's over there vlogging with Nicky with the tiger, right? And yeah, his name is at Nicky. Shout out now, Nicky. So they're hanging out with the tiger. And
I like Logan a lot, by the way. Logan.
Yeah, that's
Paul.
my guy.
He's a good man.
Nicky FaceTimes me. I'm in the middle of painting the mansion. No one knows that we're doing this yet, right? Logan's in the background, and he goes, "What are you doing?" And I was like, painting a mansion. He's like, "That's not a normal thing. People don't just paint mansions."
He's perceptive, Logan.
I was like, I'm not a normal guy. Aren't you the guy that does the splits around the world? And so he's like, I don't do the splits anymore. I quit. Anyway, the point is, Logan's like, yo, I just bought a $7 million house. Can you come paint it for me? I was like, well, when I'm done, I'll be on the way. So I literally.
The one in
Encino.
Okay, yeah, I was there.
So I literally, there it is. There's French Montana and Nicky hanging out. Yeah,
that guy is going to grow up and fucking kill someone, by the way. Right? I mean, how old was he there? Like 3 weeks old?
It was like a couple months.
You're trying to do the old imprint job. If I'm friends with him.
Oh, no, yeah, definitely. That's that tiger's dad.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. So anyway, they're hanging out with the tiger, and I leave from painting my house. We're editing the video in the car on the way to Logan's house. We get to Logan's house. My guys are sleeping on his freaking lawn furniture. We paint his whole gym in like 3 days. In the meanwhile, I'm learning about vlogging. I've never seen a vlogger before. I didn't really know what Logan did, right? I didn't understand how famous he was, right? I didn't comprehend the concept of it. But I'm crazy. So I said, hey, it's Halloween. Can I throw 3,000 pounds of dry ice in your pool? And he goes, I like you a lot, right? So we do that, and we're making this video, and I'm not understanding.
All the smoke comes out with the dry ice.
Yeah, we
right?
threw 3,000 pounds of dry ice in his pool.
Bro, it's a lot of fucking smoke.
Yeah. You can look it up if you want. 3,000 pounds dry ice, Logan Paul, Armani.
Yeah.
So the point is, We do that and we become friends. He's like, you're fucking insane. We pay in his gym. He's like, you're fucking insane. Let's go. So we start hanging out and I spend like months with Logan leading up to the Japan incident, unfortunately, right? And he's like, leave Vegas. You need to move to LA. Like you got LA is where you need to be at. You don't need to be anywhere else. And so I'm like studying, vlogging, and then I'm just learning like, wow, this guy's getting 9 million views a day on these videos. And I can't believe it. And I started doing the math. A Kim Kardashian episode gets 1.5 million. I'm like, these guys are crushing TV. So right there, my brain clicked. And I was like, all that matters is the internet. TV is dead. And you don't need anyone's permission to be, I don't need you to let me in your club. I don't need you to do a deal with me. I can just make a video and you can like it or not.
Got it.
Yeah, just skip to the end. It's always, the good stuff's always at the end.
Got it. How long did dry ice smoke for after you threw it in?
It was like 40 minutes.
Really?
It was a while.
And where's the tiger now?
They raided Nikki not too long ago with a
Animal
SWAT team
control people?
and took it from him. Yeah.
So a little bit of insanity runs in the family here. It's not just, it wasn't a recessive gene. It's fucking like a dominant gene.
He was too excited. He was getting licensed to have it and have a sanctuary, and his silly ass wanted to have it early before he got licensed. So he's in a little bit of trouble right now. He's in court over that right now.
All right. Last, I want to know, okay, tell me, where do you want to be in 5 years from now?
Oh yeah, I want to have 50.
I understand like the whole thing, but you mentioned the movie, you mentioned, I'm talking, forget about other people, fuck this guy. Where do you want to be? What would be a perfect life for you in 5 years?
Well, I just moved in with Jake Paul, Logan's brother.
He lives in?
He lives in Calabasas.
Okay, Calabasas.
So I have my house in Vegas, and then I also have half my production team with me at Jake's house.
Okay.
And we're helping Jake on the road to developing the new Team 10, which it's an incubator for creating famous people. Sure. It's a little bit of an aged up thing going on right now because Jake's going from Disney YouTuber to like music star. Mm-hmm. I'm older now, I party now, and I'm the party king. So I'm helping with that, and as a event producer and mood director, if you will, not the old kind, but social media kind. And I want to help him become a billionaire, which he's going to accomplish and be the first social media billionaire. So
him or his brother?
Sorry, Logan, Jake's gonna beat you to it, but so like,
because of you,
I'm gonna help. Okay. It doesn't hurt.
Who's got the better plan, you think, right now?
Well, I think Logan's plan is not the same. Logan wants to be the world's largest entertainer. Jake is an entrepreneur. He wants to be, Mark Cuban of social media, Kylie Jenner, right? So it's two different mindsets, I think. But there's a project that they have together. I think they're both actually going to make it. I can't talk about it, but it's a project that they have coming out. I don't know what he told you when he's here, but it's
maybe. I mean, we spoke about a lot of stuff. So
yeah, so it's a big one that's coming out soon, and so that's going to maybe make them both a billionaire or get them half the way there.
Okay, so you clearly gave who you want to say fuck you to.
Yeah.
Anybody you want to apologize to from the past?
No. I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm just asking you.
Yeah.
I don't just mean like, I don't mean because you broke
You're right. No, listen. There's this lady in the valet at the Encore. This was like 7.5 years ago. I was really fucking drunk. I did tip you $100, but you made me wait an hour for my Bentley and I was a little bit mean to you. I'm sorry.
Sharp tongue, you said.
I did. I told her you had one fucking job, and that was to keep my fucking car up front. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have talked to you like that.
What? You keep pointing to this thing in your ear.
Huh? This was my fiance's engagement ring. I took it apart and I wear it now.
Very nice. When are you getting married?
No, I'm not.
Your ex-fiance's.
Yeah. So when I got set up, she didn't stay loyal. She fucked the cop. And set me up. Yeah, and she testified on me and said what she said. He coached them on what to say.
What a bitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what, even the girl who said that I beat her up and all that stuff, she was on the FBI witness list to finally tell the truth in the case against the cops.
And she recanted you ever touching her?
No, she's dead.
She's dead?
Yeah, they found her. They think it was a forced suicide. They found her hanging in her apartment.
And you never touched her, right?
Fucking not me. I'm not the one. You're going to testify in the cops of Molly Mall on my behalf and I killed you? Get the fuck out of here, Like, it's what I'm saying. Like, this shit is fucked and it's active right now. Like there is active indictments going on right now. This is a real time situation. It's not my problem. It's their problem, right? I'm on the victim side now. But even the girl who said that I did all those things was finally going to tell the truth. And so like, I'm sorry that happened to you, you know, but like you also set me up because you're mad I wouldn't be your dude, you know? So, and then the girl that was my fiance, she's hiding in some fucking morbidly obese fat guy's mansion, you know, in like
And
Florida
coming from you,
somewhere.
that means something, by the way.
I'm a cute big guy. I am not fucking morbidly obese. Come on, you know what I
You
mean?
are the man. Listen, I honestly, I wish you nothing but the best. Like, you're a great guy, and I'm glad you came on here. And people need to hear your story because it's a good one. It really is. And I hope that guy gets what's coming to him for sure. I really do, because I think it's terrible. I'm glad I didn't have that in my life. I was rightfully accused by a solid dude who's friends with me now, but that must have fucking sucked.
No, it sucks, but you know what? It's all good because you got to make lemonade out of lemons. Now I'm painting
And you know what?
mansions. I'm producing events. Follow me at Izadi. Always plug.
Are you happy?
Yo, I'm happy. I'm super stoked to be doing what I'm doing. I have goals, and I feel like once I get to there, I'll be like truly happy. But I just have a lot of anxiety every day. I get up and I have moments of happiness, and I have moments of anxiety where I need to get stuff done. I feel like I lost 2 years of my life, and I'm trying to catch up to the momentum that I had before. You know.
One last piece of advice to you and everybody else. That is a dangerous way. Just so you understand that what happens typically with everybody, myself too, is that when you don't have the things that you want, the success that you want, and you haven't reached your goals or some monetary level of success or fame, right? And you say, well, I'll be happy when I get there. I promise you one thing, you will feel no different when you do. You can be happy right now, buddy. Okay, it doesn't, when you, and let me finish.
I feel that.
Let me
It's not
finish.
my
Let me
story.
finish. Because what happens is when you get there, okay, maybe you'll be happy, maybe you won't be happy because you got there. Perhaps you'll grow along the way, because the reason people blow up, my theory at least, right? Why I blow up, why people like Britney Spears or Lindsay Lohan, because what happens is while you're on the way up, and if you're not fully happy, you say, okay, well, it's okay that I'm not happy right now because I don't have the things I need. When I get to that point, then I'll be happy. So you feel okay inside. But then when you get the things that you thought would make you happy and you still feel the same empty or something inside, that's when panic sets in. You can be happy right now, pal. And so can it's not about that. I want you to be, it's my gift, my wish for you is that you're happy right now and then you just get rich and happy. That's all.
It's not about the money. I agree with everything you're saying because I see it in people every day. So I'm with you on that. In my scenario, I was the level 10 unhappy, and now I'm like a level 2.
So you're growing.
No, I'm accomplishing.
There you go. That's my point. That's what I'm saying is that.
But those milestones are making me
If you're happy when you get there, it won't be because you got there. It'll be what happened along the way. So that's my wish for you as a friend.
It's about the paragraph, not the exclamation mark.
Thanks for coming on, buddy. And good luck.
Hey, thank you.
Give my regards to Jake. I think he's awesome. He's
Yeah,
gonna come on.
gotta
here.
get him down here.
Great. Yeah, he's gonna. Take care, guys. Another awesome episode of The Wolf's Den. Dude, we get the most colorful pieces. This is nothing but a colorful man, okay, with an interesting past and a really interesting future on the way. Good luck, buddy.